Good afternoon, everyone. It's Thursday, April 23rd. I'm here on the rocking chair in front of the rectory. My two cats are inside. They're taking their 10th nap of the day, I think, right now. But I wanted to reach out to all of you. As you know, about 2 weeks ago, we had Jack Kakalewski speak to all of you. Then last week, we had Alba Ludmer speak with all of you. And now there's a third person. She is a psychologist here in this area, and she deals above all with teenagers. And I thought there are so many teenagers in our parish and so many parents of teenagers and grandparents of teenagers that I thought you would enjoy listening to her. She has a lot of wonderful ideas that I think can be very helpful at this time. The one nugget among many that I held on to was this idea of new traditions that we can't control the reality that there is this pandemic, but we can react in creative and new ways to try to embrace the moment and do the best we possibly can in these really awkward, restrictive moments. So enjoy listening to her. I think she has a lot to say to all of us. I hope you will get a few nuggets out of it as I did. And when she finishes, I'll come back and just speak to you one more time. So sit back, relax, and enjoy.
Hi, I'm Dr. Arasz. I'm a psychologist in northern New Jersey. I was asked by the parish at St. Elizabeth's to speak to adolescents regarding what they are currently experiencing during this pandemic, and that is the experience of loss. There are some significant losses that adolescents are experiencing during this time, specifically those students who are in or finishing up their 8th grade year or senior year of high school. Some of the losses that our students may be experiencing include, competing in their spring sports season or final season of their middle or high school career, graduation, obviously, prom, an 8th grade dance, senior or 8th grade trips, spring plays or performances of both 8th grade and high school, saying goodbye to teachers and friends. And for those who are graduating 8th grade or high school, you will be leaving a lot of your friends with whom you have grown up with and spent a lot of time with. You might be going to different high schools from 8th grade, or obviously different colleges. Everybody gets spread out. You may take on different jobs. You'll no longer be seeing the same faces that you've been so used to seeing for so long, for so much of your lives. So students aren't able to necessarily mentally process and go through these emotions in their last year of school the way that students have typically done. So even for parents as well, you won't be able to watch your kids experience these milestones or accomplishments that they've been working towards, or have traditional celebratory events. So what all this is doing to our students is really creating unsettling feelings, which are feelings of anxiety. What I want to address is how to understand our anxiety during this time. First, to understand what anxiety is, it's actually any uncomfortable feeling that we experience. It's our body's way of saying, something's not right here. I don't feel like my normal self. It's that natural fight or flight biological response. And anxiety can be experienced in a number of different ways. So emotionally, it may be experienced as any negative feeling sad, angry, annoyed. Physically, you can have headaches, stomach aches, restlessness, poor sleep, aches and pains, or even behaviorally having those defensive reactions. Every single person has anxiety. It just looks different from one person to the next. So where does anxiety in fact come from? It's actually a lack of control. When we don't have the level of control that we want or that we need, our anxiety automatically increases. So if you can picture a scale where that anxiety goes up because our personal sense of control is down. We need to be able to process and manage these losses, particularly regarding the circumstances that we're dealing with now, by trying to accept what's not within our control. So I know this is easier said than done, and I know there's probably some eye rolling going on, just accept what's not within your control. But we really want to focus on how we can do this. How can we actually accept what's not going the way we want, what's not within our control? So first, when I say we need to accept what's not within our control, we are still allowed to feel the emotions that come with not having control when circumstances don't go the way that we want or the way that we planned. We are allowed to feel angry. We are allowed to feel sad. We are allowed to feel confused, annoyed, hurt. All of those anxieties we experience when we don't have the level of control that we want or that we need. So allow yourself to go through those emotions, feel those emotions, and process those emotions. It's very important. Second, after we recognize what is not within our control and allow ourselves to process those anxieties or those emotions, for a little bit at least, we then want to shift our focus from what we can't control to what we can do. What else is within our control? We don't want to stay in that stuck negative space, perseverating over what did not go right or what didn't go the way that we wanted, but shift our focus to what else is within my control? What else can I do? What are my other options here? By doing this, we are practicing a cognitive shift. We are training our brains to think in a more forward motion, and we're training our brain to focus on what is within our control, rather than allowing that anxiety or that stressor itself to have such a hold on us and take control over us. We want to be able to get that control back by shifting that cognitive focus to what's within our control. So another component that to this that I talk about is being flexible. I call this flexibility in thinking. So here's where we use more of a problem-solving approach. If plan A didn't work, what is plan B? So we're shifting our focus from plan A. I have to accept that didn't work, but what's plan B? If plan B doesn't work, what's plan C? I'm continuing to shift my focus to what else I can do. What are my other options? So if I didn't get to play sports this year, what are other ways that I can still connect with my teammates and be active with my team now and even after the pandemic lifts? Are there other options as to getting together with my teammates after the fact or looking for possibilities to still play my sport in my next chapter? If I can't have a graduation, what other ways can I celebrate my accomplishments and academic performance? So even though I won't have a traditional ceremony, it does not mean that all the work that I put into my academics was a waste or that I didn't accomplish something great. How can I still connect with my classmates as a way to celebrate? Can we create our own class traditions that will be special to our particular class that no other class has done before? If I can't perform at my last school performance for band or a play, what are ways in which I can still put myself out there and show people what I've been working on, what I've been working so hard on, and what I've been accomplishing? How can I continue these activities that are so meaningful to me? How can I continue these in my next school or find community resources to participate in? We want to shift our focus from what did not go the way that we wanted, from what is not within our control, to shift it to what else is within my control. We are training our brains to think differently than how they've been thinking or how they're so used to been thinking their entire lives. So we're retraining our brain. We're taking back that control over our anxiety and learning how to focus on what we can do moving forward and not staying stuck. We're learning to problem solve, and we're training our brain to think in a more forward motion, preventing us from staying in that stuck place and staying in that anxiety-provoking place with the unfortunate events that surround us. So I hope this gives you a little bit of insight to managing anxiety and understanding it a little bit more about where it actually comes from. You know, we all experience it in different ways, but we want to know, why me? Why do I feel this way? And we're all related a lot more than we think, that we all experience circumstances that don't go our way. They can be very devastating, especially these losses at this time of year. And we want to still look for ways that we can celebrate ourselves and celebrate together and form new traditions for ourselves and memories that you will still have moving forward, even if they're not the traditional celebratory events that typically take place at this time of year. So I hope this is was helpful. Good luck to everybody, and congratulations on all of your hard work and accomplishments, and I wish you luck moving forward. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Jolene. That was very, very helpful, and I'm sure all of you who are watching enjoyed it as much as I did. As she was speaking about these new traditions and things like that, the thought that occurred to me is that for all of you who are going to graduate this year, be it from middle school or high school or college, you're always going to remember your graduation. It was in the midst of this coronavirus pandemic, in the midst of this kind of crazy moment in world history. If I could share with you on a personal level, I was ordained to the priesthood on January 1st, the year 2000. Most of you who are teenagers and below aren't going to remember this, but it was a day called Y2K Day, and everyone was freaking out across the world. We were afraid that the computers would go from 999 to 000. We thought that they wouldn't be able to handle it, that the computers across the world would crash, the electrical grids across the country would go down, airplanes would fall out of the sky. It was all this like craziness. Everyone's worried about the Y2K. Everyone was bracing up for it, hoarding water and food and toilet paper and all these other things, kind of like what's been happening here. And you know, it passed, and the Y2K, we survived it. We are going to survive this coronavirus. Again, I'm not trying to make light of the reality of this. It is sad. There are people dying. We are praying for them and doing our best to reach out to them, but this too shall pass. And for all of you who are going to be graduating this year, you'll always remember the special circumstances of your graduation, and may you make it the best that you can possibly do. As she said, there's very little that we can control. The things that we can control, let's do the best we possibly can. So let's make this graduation for you the most special occasion it can possibly be. Know that we're all very, very proud of you, all your major accomplishments that you've done to get up to this point. And when everything settles down, we'll have a really good party for you. And if I could just end my thoughts with just this idea of a party, be it related to graduation or not, when all these restrictions are lifted, I'm planning on having a massive party here at St. Elizabeth's with all of you. So tune in whenever that will be. Can't wait for that moment when we can all be together without a care in the world and go back to where we were before, hugging each other, shaking hands with each other, being with each other, as I said, without a care in the world. So God bless you all. Have a wonderful weekend. Catch me again Monday morning. We'll be here back again. So God bless you. Bye.